Welcome to another Co-op Conversations podcast episode. Each episode features different guests living in housing cooperatives in various parts of the world. Through these conversations, you'll learn more about life in a housing cooperative for children, teenagers, parents, and seniors. In one episode, we take a slightly different approach and we talk to Brenda Torpy from Burlington, Vermont, who is a longtime champion of the community land trust model, a land ownership model that some housing co-ops also use. I'm Julie Lapalme, Secretary General of Cooperative Housing International, or CHI. I deliver CHI's work program, which includes communications, education, and knowledge sharing, governance, and collaborations. Cooperative Housing International is one of the sectoral organizations of the International Cooperative Alliance, which is the global apex body representing all cooperatives. CHI raises awareness about cooperative housing by promoting its successes on a global level. We also facilitate networking opportunities via knowledge sharing events. If you go to our first podcast episode, we explain housing cooperatives. If you want to learn more about the different types of housing cooperatives or find out more about the work we do, please head over to our website at housinginternational.coop. Just a couple of fun facts about Zurich. The city has over 1,200 drinking fountains. In medieval times, women held the most political power in the region, and one of Switzerland's largest corporations began in Zurich. Migros, which is Switzerland's largest supermarket chain and largest employer, is one of the 40 largest retailers in the world, and it is also structured in the form of a cooperative federation with more than 2 million members. So welcome, Martin, to our podcast series on life in a housing co-op. So today we have Martin Müller, who is a longtime resident of ABZ, which I will explain in a moment. He's been living in ABZ for almost 12 years, and then he's recently become an employee of ABZ. So ABZ is one of CHI's members. It was founded in 1916, and it's Switzerland's biggest housing cooperative with close to 8,000 members. These numbers are a little old, so they might be a little bit higher now. So they build, administer, and maintain over 5,000 apartments in and around Zurich, including approximately 11,000 people living in 60 different residential areas. They actively support the housing cooperative movement in Switzerland and abroad, and are active members of CHI. Hans Rupp, who is the CEO, is one of our board members. So they also aim to build sustainable and affordable living space in high quality buildings and apartments. So welcome, Martin. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
So you live in an ABZ co-op in Zurich, as I mentioned, since almost 12 years. So describe your co-op for us, and so that we can paint a picture in our heads of your co-op.
Yes, I will happily do that. You call it a residential area. Inside ABZ, we talk about the settlements. So we have about 60 settlements or residential areas. It's the same thing. I live in one of them, which is located on the southern outskirts of Zurich. It's a geographically nice region, let's say, because we have all the advantages of public transportation that the city offers, trams, trains, buses and stuff. But we're somehow on the outskirts and are also very close to the lake of Zurich, to the woods. So it feels more like a small village rather than a city, and a big city. The settlement where I live, it has about 200, a little bit more than 200 different apartments of various sizes, varying from 1.5 to 6.5 rooms. And I think there are about 700 plus minus people living there, from old to young. It's a mix of people. It's a heterogeneous mix. There's a lot of small children, young families with small children, but there is also elder people. Yeah, like we think the mix of a settlement is one of the secrets to kind of generate a good functioning neighborhood. It's a very friendly neighborhood. I always like to say that it's like some neighbors turn into friends. So when neighbors turn into friendships, I think that's a very good sign. People do a lot of activities together, be it barbecuing, be it maintaining the garden that we have. There's kind of a community garden located in the inner court.
And so you're also raising your family in the housing co-op. So how many children do you have?
Yes, I live there with my family. I have a wife and two kids. They are 13 and 9 years old. And of course, they really love to be here where they live. It's very friendly. They don't have to worry about when they go out on the street to play. They don't have to worry about too much traffic or so, because, as I said, we are located very near to the forest and stuff. The schools they are going to, they are very, very close, so they can walk there.
Are there many children living in the co-op?
Yes, there are a lot of children. Yes, there's a lot of children living here. There is a dedicated school, a house very, very close. So everybody knows each other.
Oh, sounds ideal.
Yeah, it feels like a village rather than a part of the city.
And is there a name for this settlement? Like, does each ABZ settlement have a name?
Yeah, it's called Entlisberg. Entlisberg, but it's impossible to translate. It's just the name of the hood also, if you want. You have Zurich, and it's divided into various parts of the city, and they have names. And but geographically, it's located on the south of the city.
And how is your co-op governed? Like you're a settlement in ABZ, so do you have a representative from your settlement on, or how does that work? Because with in Canada we have these small co-ops that are all individual, and in other parts of the world as well. And so, explain to us maybe a little bit how that structure with ABZ is.
That's a little bit different, because as we are such a big housing cooperative with about 60 residential areas, we have a thing called settlement committee. So this is basically voluntary work. No, actually, it's not voluntary. If you are a member of the settlement committee, you get a small amount paid from ABZ for expenses and stuff. And the settlement committees, they are something like an interaction thing between the residents and the official parts of ABZ, let's say. They also organize certain events. As we are a cooperative, the people can decide when it comes to big decisions, for example, like the rebuilding of an area around the house or so. People can decide if they want to. They can vote, yes, we want this or not. So, for example, this is one thing that settlement committees handle. Then, of course, we have a big facility management, including facility managers, gardeners, and they have like dedicated buildings where they take care of. Of course, the facility manager on a daily basis, it's a very important person, because there is always something not working or wrong, so it's kind of a key person.
So, and that's specific to your settlement?
No. That's specific to all the settlements we have. They all have like dedicated facility manager. It's not one per building, of course, but it's a big team. It's a big team of facility managers, as we have all these residential areas distributed all over the city of Zurich, and also some outside of the city in the canton of Zurich.
Mm-hmm. So you not only live in a ABZ co-op, but you also work for ABZ. Can you tell us about what you do there?
Yes, I can. I have been working for ABZ for a little bit more than 2 years now. I am working in the communications department. And as the name says, it's all about communication and projects. Communication, we do internal communication, of course, and external communication. It's divided into those two, maybe. Internal means, for example, sharing stuff from the management to all the employees on the intranet, taking care that the intranet, all the informations are available, that it's maintained well from a technical point of view also. External communications means a lot, of course. We have a magazine for our residents that we publish every 3 months, so 4 times a year.
Like a physical magazine?
It's a physical magazine, very classic, traditional physical magazine, with stories from inside our cooperative, but also external stories from whatever topics we choose. So this is kind of a constant editorial process also. Before the forum is after the last forum. So it's always gathering stories, topics, and stuff. And then we also have a lot of digital communication tools, which I kind of was brought into ABZ. After I started, we redesigned our website. We redesigned the wing. I think we will talk about wing a little bit later. It's an internal forum, kind of. We started various social media channels that were there before, but that weren't actively maintained. And all this is coming out of our content strategy that was developed a couple of years ago, and where it says, for example, as we are such a big cooperative and we have a lot of expertise and stuff, we are kind of obliged to get out with the information, to tell stories from how we function, how we work, and also to network on an international basis, as we are doing right now.
Yeah, the communications is a huge component of communicating with both internally and externally, and to share those stories and to share like good practices, and also to just to like either raise awareness or to keep members aware of maybe changing legislation or different changes in procedures and rules. So putting out a magazine every 3 months is, I can imagine how much work that is.
Yeah, it's hard work, but it's also very fun. And since we have like a very modern, dynamic website, we also try to combine offline with online content. We're not where we want to be with it, but it's a constant process, of course.
Yeah, and then there's the social media to, you got to keep that stuff happening every day,
Exactly. And actually also there, we are not where we would like to be, but we are working on it. The good thing, I would like to mention it's that we don't have to care about marketing. We have nothing to sell, if you want to, because what do we have? We have apartments. But there's always more people that want an apartment than we can offer, so we don't have to care at all about marketing. In a way, it's rather kind of anti-marketing, because for each available apartment, we get an average of 100
applications.
Of 100 applications, exactly, which means 99 people will get a no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just to show you some of the dimensions. So, we can be on the social media channels very freely without having the pressure to sell something. So we can focus on stories and or ask questions to people how they see certain things and stuff.
Yeah. Well, if there's that many people that are applying for apartments, that's a clear indication that there's a lack of housing and even greater lack of affordable housing. Yeah, and also people are looking for to live in a place like where you're living, in a community, as opposed to just, being some anonymous neighbor next door. It's nice to be part of a community, and people are looking for that too.
That's exactly how you say it. It's I think people want this. We are kind of a group animal. I don't know if that's the right expression, but we like to live in nice and good working small communities. I truly believe in this, and I can see it for myself from where I live. It's true for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And an interesting thing is you only sometimes get to realize this when you have this, because before I got married or worked or lived in the cooperative, I used to live in regular rental stuff where no neighborhood was actually there. It was, as you said, anonymous.
Yeah, there's no connection.
There's no connection, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. We as humans, we need that. And even more so during this pandemic, where we're forced to stay in our homes even more. So where you live has become even more important.
Yeah, exactly. And from that point of view, I also have to admit I'm in a very lucky, almost luxurious position, because I mention it again. It feels like a small village here. There is a lot of hidden places where you can meet outside without having to worry about we are too many people, because there's space and like-minded people. So that helped a lot, I would say, during the last year to a lot of people, knowing that there is neighbors who might have turned into friends, that they are there.
Yeah. So your co-op has been faring COVID-19 fairly well. How in what ways has the co-op had to adjust to dealing with the pandemic?
Well, I think the most I'm in the home office most of my time for more than a year now. So an internal impact is clearly the home office thing. But then on the other hand, you have the facility management people, for example, working there. The facility manager, it's impossible for him or her to do home office. So they are still there, of course.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of events have been cancelled, events that might be organized by the settlement committees, as I mentioned before, or also from initiatives from residents. A lot of stuff has been cancelled or now taken into the digital space. Also like recreational stuff, let's say. People are getting used to it somehow, but everybody is keen on going out again. Can feel that clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How's the vaccine rollout going in Switzerland?
Well, not so well, I think. There's just not enough vaccines. And it's clear that in the first batch, there is like elder people or risk patients. I don't know if that's the right word.
High risk people, yeah.
High risk people that are vaccinated. But it's going slowly, I think. So, yeah, we still have to be aware of it and protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same in Canada. It's
same there.
The rollout is not happening super fast. Yeah. And not enough vaccines. Yeah. So let's talk about some of ABZ's work in sustainability. And when I was describing ABZ earlier, I was saying that it aims to build sustainably. So, and you've been involved in some projects that are promoting biodiversity in some of the settlements. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, I was involved in that from a communication point of view, of course, because when we have such projects, we like to talk about them, to promote them, be it in our physical forum magazine or on our digital social media channels. I can name a few. For example, I think it's about 17 or 18 of our buildings. We have solar panels in various sizes. Some of them give the electricity directly to the residents. Others it's transferred into the official grid. sold to the official supplier. We have also water heating on some of the roofs, and all this with an upward trend. So for every new building that we build, there it's no question if there will be solar panels. It's normal, it's regular. So we're trying to change the ratio from renewable energy. So we have to the level of renewable energy needs to increase. So that's like the aim, the vision. I don't have exact numbers there, but I think we in the last like 15 years or so, we have huge amounts. We exchange like a very big amount of CO2 emitting energy to renewable energy. That's like more the technical part. We have also other biodiversity actions. One thing is, for example, community gardens. It's a thing that is coming more and more. People would like to share, gardens, meet there. Another thing is, for example, we try to exchange all in the surroundings of the buildings. There's also always like bushes, trees, and those are exchanged because very often they are invasive. It's invasive plants, and they're being exchanged to native plants. Yeah, so we have a lot of stuff going on in that area.
Well, it's very impressive. You're light years ahead of many other developed countries, I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're definitely catching up here in Canada. I mean, the whole. I mean, just the fact that you said that installing solar panels is just automatic. Well, here it's not. We're not even at that stage. Yeah.
I would expect that. It's strange. Yeah. One would expect that when we're talking about like developed countries, it should be like not. It shouldn't be a question, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about the fact that that we go into that direction. It's also a clear desire of our residents, because, for example, on the annual meeting, there is always and also with an upward trend, more and more voices asking for this, because the climate catastrophe, it's becoming clear to more and more people that there is action to be taken, from small scale to big scale.
Well, there's another advantage of living in a housing cooperative is that it's member driven. The members are demanding it, and it's not a top down approach.
No, exactly. It's a member driven, and a lot of those stuff that I mentioned before, for example, like the exchange of trees and bushes around the residential areas, it's coming from the residents themselves. So it's again member driven. Mm-hmm. There's always one or two people, and which is enough, that are very active, that want to get things done. Yeah, if you are like this, you easily find another two or more people, and all of a sudden you're a small group. Then you get to the settlement committee, ask them for help, for advice, and then you have a project realized sooner than you thought, maybe.
Yeah. And there's that saying, many hands make light work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
So you mentioned the WINK project or initiative. So that's is that an internal information system for members of ABZ, or can you explain that to us?
Yeah, it's kind of this. Actually, explained in one sentence, it's the old repair message system, which has evolved into kind of a portal, if you want to. So the repair message, it's an important thing, as we have so many. It's the facility managing thing I mentioned before. If there is something broke in your apartment or in the environment or in the cellar, you can submit a repair message to your facility manager. So, and this used to be a very old system, and WINK has kind of evolved from that. What is it today? It's still the repair message transmitting system. But it's also like a pin board. You can it offers a lot of information, internal papers stuff, the annual report. We have a marketplace, so people can buy or sell stuff. It's kind of a small Facebook or so. It's reserved for residents, of course. It's not public, so you have to be a resident of ABZ. And if you are the one on the contract, the system also recognizes you. And if, for example, you submit a repair message, the system knows in what apartment you live in and guides you exactly through the process. Yeah, so we like to push it. We hope that we can. It's not used by everyone. It's still not used by everyone.
Yeah, I was going to ask how many people are using it.
I mean, we're talking about more than 12,000 people living inside ABZ. This includes children and very old from all ages. So 12,000. And on Wing today, we have about 2,000. So
there's there's room to grow. Yeah.
Yeah, there's room to grow. There's room to grow, and but we have a strategy. We have a vision where we want to go with Wing. We want to make it like a counter where people can get a lot of information, where they have to call. Today they have to call us. So yeah, we're also thinking about automatization and stuff.
So that's interesting that it started off as the repair system, the way that you report a repair, and then it's turned into this portal where you can get I guess minutes of meetings and information and you can and the marketplace that's really quite cool that people can buy and sell stuff within the co-op. That's really clever.
Yeah, and it's really going well. Yeah, it shows. I mean, there's a lot of other media, let's say, from where I live. I know there is a lot of WhatsApp chats, for example. So people are also organized by themselves. And sometimes I think with the Wing, we are just a bit too late because there's already so much stuff going on. People are on so many networks. But the good thing is they have to go to Wing because they can submit the repair messages. So it's kind of a killer criteria. So we have to get people there. And then, of course, we want to make it as interesting as possible. Yeah, the question for us is, how can we add value there? It's very simple. How can we make it a need to have and not just a nice to have?
And is it only available as an application on your phone, or can people access it through their computer as well?
No, it can be accessed via browser, via app. We just changed to the latest technology, which offers exactly this. You can have a native app on whatever OS you have, and the same content can run in a browser on your laptop or on your computer. Yeah, I think it's important if you have a system like this to really have a low barrier for people to enter that system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we already see demographic variations. All the younger people, they have no problems with it. They use it just
like any other app that they use.
Like native, mm-hmm. Yeah, like any other app. And sometimes with elder people, yeah, they call us and ask for existence. Mm-hmm. And one of a part of my job is also taking care and giving support, first and second level support to people struggling somehow with the Wing. And that's a part I really like because I get in direct contact with the mm-hmm. residents.
Yeah,
there's always interesting conversations or information's going.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's it's a good side effect of helping people.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So, are there many seniors that live in ABZ? And I have a colleague that wrote to me recently asking about housing cooperatives. that have seniors, but that also offer, services or, healthcare so that the seniors, can stay in the co-op. So I'm just curious what your approach is at ABZ.
We have a special approach to that. It's not that we are offering those services that you mentioned, but we, I think we even invented it here. It's a thing called Hausgemeinschaft 55. It means...
I understood the 55 part.
Yeah, and this indicates the age.
Yeah.
So from 55 years old on, you are entitled to live in that like dedicated residential area. It might be one dedicated house within a settlement, and this is constructed a little bit differently in the sense of the individual rooms. They are even smaller than the average ABZ, but common rooms are bigger because we want people who live there to meet, to get together, to be together. And by like delivering that infrastructure or special rooms, that works quite well. So people can take care of themselves and not having to go to a, how do you call Altersheim? There is also like really residences for old people where all these services are included.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But many old people, they don't like to go there because it often feels like the final
push. Yeah.
The final push. And if you offer stuff like our HD55, you can, it's like a community. It's like a community where people help each other. It's like a small ABZ inside ABZ, if you want. So
yeah, that's a great approach. And so for the opposite spectrum of the age range, what about students? Are there many students that live in ABZ co-ops? And any like specific, like solely for students, or what maybe some that are co-ops that are near universities?
No. We don't have that. It's overall, I would say, very, very mixed, very heterogeneous. Sometimes, no, we have special cases where there are more students, and that is if we know, for example, that one building is going to be renovated in 2 or 3 years. We start to rent the apartments to people on a temporary basis. And this is very often students because they are kind of flexible. An apartment for 2 years, that's perfectly fine for them. So they don't become like official members, but they are just residents, but they live inside ABZ then as well. And they have access to Wink and so it's rather based on that. Is there a renovation coming or even a renewal building? Yeah, our rental department, they start to rent out the apartments for temporarily.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's good to have that flexibility.
Yes, yeah.
But that way, you're not locked into, a year's commitment or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just want to circle back to living in a housing co-op specifically for your children. Can you describe a typical day or a typical situation for your children living in the house in your housing co-op where there's lots of other children and families living there?
Yeah, there are similarities from within the children that live here. If they have to go to school, they stand up early, of course, have breakfast. In my case, it's my little girl. She meets with other girls from the house and then they walk to the school together. It's a walk. It's like 5 minutes. It's really, really close. Yeah. Then they come back for lunch. In the afternoon, they meet again to walk to the school again.
And in Switzerland, that's pretty typical to go home for lunch if you're...
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you are like on the primary school level, because those schools, they are often pretty close to where you live. After elementary school, be gymnasium or whatever, there is fewer schools, and then they have to use public transportation. So, for example, my eldest son, he leaves the house in the morning and goes to his school, and he has to stay there because it wouldn't be worth it to come home over lunch. So he's out of the house, but returns late afternoon. And they do homework, and then they just want to go out and meet their friends. Mm-hmm. So both of them. Yeah, it's really nice. I would love, I love to see my children grow up here. We are really lucky. They are really lucky to have that. And I think they also appreciate it somehow. They feel that it's a nice place.
Well, they must have friends that don't live in a housing co-op, and they can see the difference.
Yes, yeah. We have a lot of friends that don't live here also, and they're all jealous because no, really, it makes me feel ashamed sometimes. But of course, I understand them. It's there is too little of housing cooperatives, so the demand is much higher. Mm-hmm. And people, if friends come to visit us, they feel that it's somehow special. It's not like a regular neighborhood. It's more. Yeah,
more than housing.
Yeah, exactly. Living.
Yeah, it's living. Yeah, community living. Yeah. It's it's really nice. And but housing cooperatives are becoming more well known, and people are looking for that sense of community. In addition to affordable housing, and that's part of our mandate. For Cooperative Housing International is to promote this model. Which is why we're doing this podcast, to share with as many people as possible the benefits of living in a housing co-op. And, you're a great example of, how nice it is to raise a family there and to know, to be friends, not just know your neighbors, but to be friends with your neighbors.
Yeah, that is really exceptionally nice, really.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Martin, for sharing your stories with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this latest episode of Co-op Conversations. We hope that it provided a better understanding of what life is like in a housing co-op. If you're interested in finding out more, you can visit us at housinginternational.coop. We feature many stories and resources on our website with useful tools, studies, and articles on topics ranging from governance to finance to sustainability and so on. You can also find us on social media, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, where we like to share stories and good practices of co-op housing around the world. If you want to find a housing co-op in your region, I suggest that you do an online search for co-op housing along with the name of your city, and hopefully something will come up. I would like to thank all of our guests for sharing their stories with us. I would also like to thank our sound technician, Todd LeBlanc, who also lives in a housing co-op in Vancouver, Canada. Thanks for listening.